Joining me now, the co-hosts of the Sports Gossip Show podcast, Madeline Hill and Charlotte Wilder. Okay, ladies, you bill yourselves as the foremost experts on this relationship. How so?
Well, Michael, first of all, I want to say that your line about the Patriots jersey was an absolute banger. We both...
Thank you.
This is sort of a story that was made for us. I've been a sports journalist for 10 years, grew up in the Boston area, big Patriots fan. I know way too much about everybody involved in the Patriots dynasty over that 20-year span. Madeline has a master's degree in sociology, studying how celebrities use social media. And so in October, we started the show in September. In October, when we saw that Bill had joined social media, which as a Patriots fan, I mean, talk about clutching your pearls. This was a man who had referred to Instagram as Instaface for decades, if it's been around that long. And we also knew that he was dating this young woman, and he was doing very advanced things like accepting collaboration posts. And she appeared to be using this new platform that we had a hunch maybe she built for him for, amplifying her own social channels. And so our antennas went up, and we've been following the story since. Not to brag, I think we were onto something.
So in your March 18 episode, one or the other of you said, this is bigger than two people. It exposes the current gender dynamics in the U.S. How so? What's the big picture view?
Yeah, I mean, I think on one hand, a lot of people are talking about the age gap being at the center of this story, but I think what is more interesting here is the power dynamics at play. As you mentioned, Bill Belichick is one of the best college football coaches, well, about to be college football coaches, NFL coaches in history, and here he is seemingly being controlled maybe in some degree by this young woman, Jordon Hudson. And what's interesting here is that I think it has broader implications not only for Bill's career, but also for the career of the people that he's employed and also the students who have been recruited by him to go play for him at UNC. And that's the bigger story here than even just the age gap.
Is it possible we are selling short her competence? I mean, wasn't it appropriate for that interview to be interrupted when she interrupted the interview, if in fact the ground rules were, let's focus on the book and focus on football? And something else relative to those emails. I went back and I read the emails that were released by some equivalent of a Freedom of Information Act request. And the PR advice that she was giving to UNC was, when media members are saying it's nepotism for Bill to hire one of his sons, let's not release photographs of the two of them together. And I thought to myself, that makes sense. That's the kind of thing that like Lanny Davis, the crisis manager, would have advised. Your thoughts?
Sure, but I think that to say that before anything had been put together about Bill hiring his son Steve, which he worked for Bill on the Patriots, it's pretty obvious. If you're a PR professional, she was saying things that's like, don't lead with the fact that he's Bill's son, which is also like, do you think people don't know he's his son? They have the same last name. It felt very obvious. It felt like someone who is not trained in PR would do. I also think that CBS put out a statement saying that with Bill's book publisher, there were no parameters set, even though Bill said that there were. And you cannot make yourself the story, which Jordon has done, and expect no one to ask you about it. And so there are a lot of double standards here in terms of how she's dealing with the media. She's also very anti-media. It's Bill and Jordon against the world, and we found some, things she had posted on her personal Facebook insinuating she's always had a deep distrust of the media. So it sort of taps into a lot of the questions and problems we're dealing with in America as a whole.
The whole college football recruitment game has become so much more sophisticated because of the portal in the last couple of years. And something that I've been wondering as I've watched this story, and I'm sure you'll have an opinion, how does this impact recruiting? Like if I'm some blue chip, prospect out there, middle America, looking at where I want to go play my college ball, am I more or less psyched to go to UNC as we're discussing all these issues?
Yeah, I mean, I think for these young players, it is something to be concerned about. You know, one of the reports that came out a few months ago is that Jordon Hudson was instrumental in getting the Hard Knocks documentary series axed, which would have been a documentary series that follows these players, could have potentially brought more NIL dollars to some of these players who maybe ended up being the star of this documentary. And so if they don't have that and the story is about their coach and not about the players and their performance on the field, that's something that I would be concerned about if I was a student athlete.
Yeah, I think, Michael, you know,
Okay.
in your poll, you said, should we be concerned? And I think the question is concerned for whom? You know, you can be concerned about Bill, but Bill's, you know, he's had a great career. He has a lot of money. To me and to Madeline, the way that we've been looking at this is a question of where that power ladder goes down. And if you follow it, it's the people who work for Bill at UNC. It's the student athletes that he has recruited. If I were the parent of a student athlete and I saw a coach whose public narrative is completely out of control, I would ask, why are you the guy who can then guide my children through this program?
Oh, okay, but can I have a final thought on this? Because we're kind of treating him like he's Patty Hearst, you know, that he's in the clutches of the Symbionese Liberation Army. I'm sure that dates me to tell the two of you that line. But he looks happy. I mean, why are we so harsh on Belichick? This is his relationship, you know, God bless, be happy, and hope you win some games. You two get the final word. You can each take 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yes, he's a grown man. He can do what he wants. He can date who he wants, but that's not what we're concerned about. What we're concerned about is how his actions and, frankly, inactions at times by letting her sort of control his own public persona and his career have implications and consequences for his employees and the student athletes and the people who go to UNC. That, to us, is the main concern here. It's not who he's dating. Like we said, it's not about the age gap. He can date who he wants, but it's about what the implications are of who he's dating that are having on these other people.
Especially, Michael, because Jordon is not hired by the University of North Carolina. He has brought her in, and he said in a statement, I am involved with Jordon in a personal and professional capacity, which opens up a lot of questions. What is she doing for you? How, if she is not working for the university, why is she CC'd on all these emails? It's a lack of transparency, I think, and you know, it's something that can have broad implications for UNC and the sports world more generally.
Madeline, Charlotte, nicely done. Thank you both. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks for having us.